Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing? And gals. It is Saturday morning here in Naples, Florida, and wherever you are, welcome. I talk about my therapeutic keto journey on this program and kind of go through what happened in the week past on that same journey, and also new things I'm discovering every single day. And I'm telling you, it is just an incredible walk. And not to say that every once in a while, when reading or in a discussion with somebody, there is a seed of doubt that comes up and you think, is this really working? Even though you feel it is, right? And is this the best path to go? And in all of my studying on the internet, because that's all we have, right? And if you've looked at any of my past videos, I try to dive into people that have some sort of credibility, right? They have credentials. And you look at the study and you want to make sure that the person that is doing the study or the group that's doing the study has full disclosure. They're not like being paid by some kind of organization. And sometimes you can't tell because people will lie, especially if there's big money involved. I don't know how they think they can keep it quiet, because later, a lot of times, most of the time, we find out that, some of these guys that have been like pro this and pro that and an anti keto diet are being paid by people that have an axe to grind in the other side, like the carb and sugar industries, right? So it's hard to know, and you have to trust your gut sometimes. But on these studies, you read and you think, okay, man, I'm doing the right thing. I do not have a PET scan machine in my house. So that means that, you can't really, you feel that whatever you're doing is having an effect. But until you get like your own scientific, proof, you can't really tell if the thing's doing the things it should or not. For me, that happens this month on the 8th, which is kind of scary. I mean, I must admit, because if you think about it, here I am waiting these days to see if, some kind of thing or things will show up in my body or not. I am hoping and praying that what I'm doing is kind of suppressing, whatever may be in me. I was diagnosed last month with scientific proof, actual photo proof that there is a tumor, right? That's like around my bile ducts coming out of my liver, gallbladder area, your bile ducts. And like it has enough prominence there that it is actually clamping down on the bile ducts, which is causing problems. That's not supposed to be that way. And what I'm doing, that's when I went on my full-blown therapeutic ketosis all by myself, because I have not found a doctor yet. Actually, I did find somebody here in Naples, and I'm going to be talking with her. I'm not sure if she's full therapeutic keto or if she's just diet. We have to talk. So, but she did send me an email. She, like a lot of the medical professionals that practice here in this, what would you call it? It's a, what do you call this kind of town? We have like, geez, the word is escaping my mind, but it's where we have a lot of people that visit the town during the cool, drier parts of the year, And then during the hot and sweaty parts of the year, they all go back up north. So we have a lot of snowbirds here. So that's exactly what a lot of the medical professionals do. They kind of follow the seasonal people here. So yeah, let me take a sip here of my decaf. I already had a caffeinated coffee. That will wake me up. And you know what I found on therapeutic ketosis, that is you're much more sensitive to a lot of things. I'm more sensitive to caffeine. I think it was last Saturday that I was really sensitive to it, because I was right over there. I'm in my kitchen area here. I was right over there doing the dishes, and this cup of coffee just caught me so, like, my heart started beating faster, and I go, man, what is this? Because I'm a coffee holic, or was. But you got to think a lot of that caffeine and stuff can go right into your fat cells and whatever. And I don't have a lot of those anymore since I've been doing this ketosis, this therapeutic ketosis diet. I've lost weight on this, which is really good. And I lost a lot of that fat. This is perfect. Yeah. So, getting back to all that, you do have doubts. Day by day goes by, and I'm thinking, I got a beautiful body created by the Creator. He made perfection. I know we're human on this earth, and there are things that bombard us and stuff, but I have to keep believing that I have a strong body, and that, I'm going to be good. I'm praying nothing shows up on there, but if it does, we'll take care of it, right? And for me, from, like I say, what I've read and what I've studied, especially YouTube has such a wealth of information too on this. The guys at Low Carb Down Under here on YouTube have so many credentialed speakers that not only present brand new material, but they go back, and I was watching one last night. It was about the red meat causes cancer thing. And this gal just blows everything out of the water. There was never any scientific proof. They just said it based on, well, it appears it might. There was no scientific proof. Got to the point where they didn't even get into the causation. I mean, the mechanics of it. Okay, so how does red meat cause cancer in you? And there was never anything published. There was that whole thing came from like a 2-page document saying that the abstract, saying that the full-blown, dossier was going to come later. They never published it. So this whole thing, you just hear these things and you go, and then the media, everybody takes off on it, like, oh, red meat causes cancer. You shouldn't be eating so much red meat. Matter of fact, you go to your doctor today and he'll probably tell you to cut down on red meat. One thing, I was thinking this as I was laying in bed last night. I'm going to the Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa, Florida on the 8th to get my first ever PET scan, where they inject you with glucose to make your whatever, if you do have cancer cells, and you light up, right? And if there is something in there, I'm sure they're going to give me like this full agenda of things that they recommend that I do, in addition to, okay, here's some kind of a radical treatment we're going to do on you, which to me, I will do the treatment as long as I'm doing this, the therapeutic keto diet. So I'm okay with that stuff, right? But I remember when I was diagnosed with high blood pressure and all the spiel about the HDL and LDL cholesterol that's in your body. It was high cholesterol, that's what it was, along with high blood pressure. And they hand you these mimeographed, these photocopied, photocopied sheets of how to lower, just stuff that they probably haven't looked at themselves in 10 years. And I remember looking at some of that stuff and said, man, that's crap, this thinking that, these things cause high cholesterol in your body, which they absolutely don't. And I never, took that back to the doctor and said, well, how's your thinking on this? Have you ever studied diet ever? And as you and I both know, or maybe you don't, medical professionals have most of the time, unless they're dietitians, like general practice or even people that are in oncology, have probably half an hour of training in diet, if that, for patients they're going to be treating. So their thought process isn't even going that way. If you present to them something, and I've done this, here's a diet that may help people, and here is scientific proof, medical proof that these people were greatly helped in their diagnosis and in their treatment for this disease. And they don't engage, they don't have a curiosity, because that's not where they're thinking at. Their thinking is that, we have to use the chemicals, the pharmaceuticals, and the radiation, and all this other stuff that we've been doing for years, because we see the outcome of that. Not to say that there's no good in that. They see the little good that does, and that's all they care about, because that's all they've studied in. This is something new. I have followed this naturopathic doctor in Brazil for many years. And the main reason why is because I own a marketing agency, social media marketing agency. And this guy was like off the charts on social media. I mean, when Snap came out, Snapchat, with, where you could make these long stories, he did that. He had like a whole show on Snapchat. And then when we had Instagram stories, not the stories, but the Instagram posts you can do, like your little, what do they call that? I guess I do call that stories. And the other thing is reels, but on the stories, he still does it today. He's really big on that and helps so many people. And I remember one thing he said, because I used to watch him, because he's entertaining at the same time, was that most doctors in their field do not put a lot of time into coming up to modern times with their training. They get trained, let's say they graduate in 1997, and that they're going to go with that. They may go to conferences, but I mean, what happens at conferences? A lot of times they're not really listening. It's more of a social gathering for most people, I would say, because I've been to so many conferences myself, and you get out of it maybe 10% of what the people say, because you're like chit-chatting or doing, you're connecting, that's a great thing for that. But as far as, if there's like some new discovery, or there's a new thing, or there's new, there's not even, I see, prove me wrong. I always say that, prove me wrong. There's not even the slightest curiosity as to, what may be changing in their field. Because for them, if they're making their, whatever it is, $800,000 a year or $1 million a year nowadays in their profession, why study something new? Why mess up the, what they got going? Why take time out of this money machine to do that? They helping people? Yeah. Could they help more? Oh man, yeah. And I've developed this new word that I use a lot for what's going on around me, is shame. It's a shame that they don't take a look at some of this new stuff that's going on. It really is. Because, it's like all those doctors that forever went along with smoking and stuff. And then one day when the rest of the world woke up, they go, oh yeah, maybe it's not such a good thing. We're changing now along with you guys. So that's what's going to happen in the medical profession with these guys that don't believe in like a keto diet may help your health in some way. It's going to be that they are going to wake up one day and say, oh yeah, I guess maybe we should jump on this keto thing because everybody else is. And they're going to look at us and go, gosh, you're still believing in that stuff that, like healthy grains and fruits and vegetables, and that's the way to go. Stay away from fats of all kind. And then everybody else is going, hey, everybody's saying that saturated fats are the best thing for you, and it's working. And the doctor's over there going, okay, yeah, maybe I should study this now, right? And these guys that are deep into this, like the scientists and some of the medical professionals that, really want to make a difference in their own lives as to helping people with the latest, right? They're already on board. And these guys that are in the profession, and I guess I'm repeating myself, they'll look at it and go, gosh, we should have jumped on board way back when. But, it's like anything. I deal with technology and computers and stuff, and you know how hard that is to stay up with. I mean, this is my brand new toy right here. This, believe it or not, is an iPhone. It's the iPhone 12 mini, right? And it's the lightest thing. It's the lightest iPhone that I've ever had. It's just crazy incredible. It can do everything that the regular iPhone can. The coolest thing about, and this is truly off topic from keto, is that how iPhones have gotten like this wide now, and it's so hard to like if you got to type something with one hand, which we do sometimes as we're driving down the road at 90 miles. No, just kidding. As we're doing something else, or we just want to do it with one hand. This phone, because it's so tiny and the screen's not that small, I mean, come on, is excellent for like typing with one thumb. So anyway, that's good. It's a good, and it has the latest chip in it. I'm very, very happy with the phone. It's 5G too, which I know they say that it doesn't mean much now because there's so much of 5G they still got to roll out. But with technology, it's so difficult to keep up with what's happening, right? You get like, okay, the kids bring you some kind of, mom or dad, get on this thing. It's really cool. And it's a new app or a new thing, or like TikTok. It's like, why don't you get on TikTok and do something, and it's like, gosh, it's a new thing I have to learn. This is the same barrier that medical professionals today, I think, have with therapeutic ketosis or just the keto diet. A lot of them just toss it out, because they think it's a fad. They think it's like some new thing. They don't want to learn it because if they do learn it, maybe tomorrow it's going to be some other kind of thing, So that's why if you go to your medical professional, you'll find that barrier there, because it's just like you trying to learn a dance on TikTok or some kind of thing, or keep up to date with TikTok. They say you got to post every day, right? Yeah. So, that's why the professionals are that way. At first, it was upsetting to me because, excuse me, at first, I thought, man, why aren't they even curious about this? And it's the same thing with us, with technology. I think a lot of times it's like, we're not curious because how does this benefit me? And they think the same thing. So, yeah. In a little bit, if you stick around, I'm going to be showing you the Keto-Moto, which, as I've always said, if you're getting into therapeutic ketosis, especially if you're kind of doing this by yourself, even though when they say the word therapeutic, it usually involves a medical professional that's kind of looking over your shoulder, making sure you're not killing yourself with some kind of crazy thing you're doing. But there's enough data, excuse me, information out there that is this too early in the morning? There's enough stuff out there online. Hang on just a second here. Normally for me, that comes from cream, but today I'm fasting, so there's only coffee and water. But anyway, there's enough stuff out there on the internet and on YouTube, which includes the internet, right? And books too. Matter of fact, I started this whole diet thing because of some of these books, called like Go Keto and Live, or these. Matter of fact, I'll show you some of the books that I am reading now. Here we go. How to Starve Cancer. That's the last one. Let me show you the cover of that one, though. Can you see that? There we go. And some of the other books, it was saying like, here's what you have to do, and here's the food you can eat, and here's where your fat intake has to be, here's where your carb intake has to be, here's where your protein has to be. Protein was the one that was the most interesting, because I thought, okay, this is going to be high protein. I love it. I can eat all of these foods. No, I think my protein level for this diet is only 47 grams, which is nothing. You hit 47 grams easy. So when I thought this is all great, and this gal in her book didn't have anything about measuring it. I got to the measuring part because as you start studying on stuff, let's see, here we go. You get to the point where you start well, hang on here. Let me get to her site. Yeah. This is Maggie Jones's site. I think that's her last name. Yeah, Maggie Jones. It's called cancerv.me. Take a look at this. Okay, come on. And start here for healing diet. Release your stress. And, I got on that, and she's got like posts like, and the supplements I use and all that. But the one that was really cool that I got to was, okay, how to measure. And I'm thinking, oh man, with what I deal in, which is marketing online, if you don't measure your results, you don't know. You don't know if the thing's working or if it's not working. So she said, here are the tools you need. It's not like tremendously expensive, and here's how you do it. And I thought, man, this is great. So I did. I got what's called the Keto-Moto, which I found out that everybody that's doing this therapeutic keto uses. Why the Keto-Moto? Because it does two things on the same doggone meter. And that is, it measures your blood glucose level and also your keto, right? Your how much ketones you have going on inside there. So when you have that, plus when you have the app, which is called the Keto-Moto app, right? It looks like this. Eita. Not doing so well here. Maybe I put it over my face. It's the lighting. This screen is there we go. Okay, so you see, it like measures both. Now, if we get where the camera starts doing that in and out thing, I know how to fix that too. This is a Microsoft camera that I'm using on an Apple computer, but the camera is really good. And yeah, so if you can get both those things going on in the same way, in the same device, or I don't have to either pee on a ketone stick and then kind of calculate that into my readings, and then also do a glucose meter. I think the glucose meters are probably the same price as this. I paid $44 for this thing on Amazon, right? And it does such a beautiful job that I can read exactly what's going on with my blood work. Normally I do it at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I found that if I do it earlier, I get the same reading, first when I wake up, because they say that your glucose levels are going to be way high and your ketone levels are going to be low as soon as you wake up, because that's the dawn effect, they call it. And for me, for some reason, I waited till 8, I waited till 9, and I got sort of the same reading. So I'm thinking, doesn't really matter. Let's just do it at 8 o'clock. I get up at 6:50 every morning, and I do a little workout, and then meditate, and then we get the Keto-Moto out and do my reading, right? And that goes into a beautiful app that Maggie also recommended. I had no idea it existed, and now I'm a beta tester for the thing. I love it so much. Is an app called the Cronometer, and it's spelled Crono, chrono without the H, because you think normally like chronomatic would be CHOR, but it's not. It's chrono, like CRONO. Okay. So what this guy does is, we'll go back for yesterday, right? Is it automatically syncs with Keto-Moto. So it'll put your keto numbers in there, and your GKIs, it's called glucose ketone index. And it's an index where you want to stay below the number 3. So you, let me see if I think we're working okay, right? It's not doing too much of that. The bad problem with the Microsoft cameras, that sometimes it'll get to where, and this happened, I remember with the early cameras, our early webcams back then, they'd focus and they'd sit there going like this during the whole thing. But this one's working pretty well, actually. So I'm surprised. But back to Cronometer, it interfaces with Keto-Moto. There's nothing I have to do. I take my readings here, I import them into the Keto-Moto app, right? Because you want to do that every day. These are connected by Bluetooth, which is the magic of technology. And then it goes into the Cronometer, right? So the Cronometer has it and can pair it with all the other things that are happening. The Cronometer app is used to track everything that goes in your mouth, from supplements to coffee to foods, and then what it does, it will tell you, this is for yesterday, and you can see at the top here, my energy level as far as my cake, my, what do you call it? Carbs, not K carb, what do you call it? My energy measured in energy. How do they measure that? And then my protein level, which you can see on yesterday, I exceeded by 13%. My net carbs for yesterday, I had 1.5 carbs. That was from a sausage link that I bought that was 1 carb. And then eggs. Eggs have carbs. I think they have just a little over half a carb in them. And then my fat level was really good yesterday too. So take a look at that. It's going to be at the top of the screen, if you can see there. It's trying. Okay. There we go. Come on. Stay in there. What'd I do? Yeah, that's good. So the top is the energy, kcals. I don't know. Yeah, calories, I guess. and then the protein, and then the oh, that's my Zero app. It's asking me how I'm doing on my fast. That is so cool. I love that technology too. And the last one is your fat. Now, if you see on there, like for protein, it'll tell you how many grams you're allowed, right? Like, how many did I say? 46 or whatever. And my fat, I'm allowed 245 grams of fat a day. I hit 182. And then the carbs, I got up to 12, even though I don't ever hit 12. And I don't ever want to. Now, what I'm going to do now is do the Keto-Moto. I want to show you how it works, right? So this is the beautiful case that it comes in. You can see the Keto-Moto device right here. And then your lance is right here. This is the little thing that, that you prick your finger with. Ouch. And then these are the strips, these guys here, which are a little over $1 a piece. There's one for glucose, and we'll get one out for your ketones, right? And then get the meter out. Now, the magical thing about the meter, because it wants to save batteries, is that it only turns on when you push the little strip in. Isn't that crazy good? That's what you want, right? Something that saves battery life. Why not have technology like that? So now I'm taking apart the thing that's it's not that painful, actually. It's just like a little prick. And you get used to it. Do you really? It's sort of like going on stage. You get those little things in your tummy before you go on. You push the lance into the device till it stops. You want to make sure you have it all the way down in, because if not, when you hit that button and it's like too high, it's going to go deep into your finger, right? Then we take this little safety thing off of here, which exposes the ultra sharp needle direct from China. That's where these things come from. Hopefully they're clean. So many things come from China now. Now, my is a 3. My depth, I know, for me. And before I pierce my finger, I'm going to get these strips ready, okay? And this is so easy, guys. I mean, and the beauty of it is you're eating your stuff, you're tracking it in Cronometer, very carefully seeing that you don't go over your fat, you don't go over because let me show you something else. The great thing about this Cronometer. Let me go get some actual food, right? And show you how that works. So we have show and tell this morning. This is Kirkland's albacore tuna. See that? I love how this thing's focusing today. It's so nice. Now on this can of tuna, especially because it comes from Costco, you're going to have a barcode on there for individual sale. You see that guy there? So there are so many frickin' people, beautiful people, using and are we on today? Yes, we are, but I'm not going to eat this. But so many people using the Cronometer app. You see the little plus sign there down at the bottom? That is where I'm going to add like food. So I would just take that and click it. And then it brings up this little menu right there, see? And you see where it says scan barcode, right? So I can hit that scan barcode and it brings up a little window there. I'm not sure if you can see it. Yeah, there it is. And I'm going to scan now this tuna. And I scanned it and look at this. This is just so incredible. This app is just so nice. So now we have the Kirkland Signature Albacore Solid White Tuna. It shows you how much a serving is. 1 can. Oh my gosh. Okay, I got my phone set to go. But down here, it's going to tell you you've got 42 grams of protein. That's almost 100%. It even shows me what it is. 90. That's going to be 93% of my protein. There's no carbs in this, and then your fat's only 1.5 grams. So if you want to load up on, if you want to, and they'll also show macronutrients, which are good. Let me show you that part. There's iron in it, potassium in it, lots of protein. So see, it's going to max out my protein for the day if I ate the whole can. But it's a beautiful thing that, it puts all this in there. Now, if you're following, this is what I'm going to say that goes along with the keto mojo, is that if you follow your diet that you put in, the beauty of the Cronometer is, it's going to help you. And Maggie's website also helps you kind of fill out the blanks for a therapeutic keto diet. Is just different than just a normal keto diet, because you can have a lot more carbs, you can have sugar substitutes, you can do all kinds of nice things if you want to lose weight. But if you're doing it for a therapy, right, for metabolic disease, you want to fill out these settings just a little bit differently. The settings here, you put your age, your weight, your height, your BMI, which is your body mass index, your basal metabolic rate, which I think it calculates that, your body fat and your activity level, and also your weight, right? You put all that in there, and this thing will figure out, based on the therapeutic keto way, you put some other things in there, how much fat you need per day to remain in therapeutic ketosis, how much protein you're allowed, and then how many carbs. Now, the carb reading for therapeutic keto in this Cronometer was higher, was like 20 something. And for me, I wanted it lower because I wanted to go radical, right? And this is where a doctor may become involved. But I'm thinking, carbs turn into sugars in my body. Sugar's a thing I don't want. So why even have carbs? I don't need carbs if I'm in ketosis, right? So I put 12 there, So, okay, next we're going to get out the little strips. These just tear open, and get them ready. Let me see. There's a way, maybe there's a way we can kind of show you what I'm doing down here. Move my coffee out of the way. Is that going to focus? Yeah. So I got my strip here, right? Actually should have. Okay, that's what the strip looks like right there. We'll just stick that on that one right there, okay? So we don't, what I was saying is you don't want to put these things where they'll get contaminated. And I'm not a germaphobe at all. But, still you want to be relatively clean, right? Because you want to get a good reading. All right, so this is the other guy, and we'll put him the same way right there. Okay, now we do the hurting part, and hopefully this won't be too bad. But the number 3 is about as deep as I want mine to go. I'll hit the button. Ouch! There we go. And sometimes, and then I'll put my arm down, at my side here. I'm not sure if you can see that, what's going on. And sort of, get the blood going down that way. We got the meter right here. Some people say to wipe off the first drop of blood. But for me, I don't want to waste any. Ooh, we got a nice blood drop going there. So we're going to do this one first. I'm not sure which one it is, but if you notice, when you plug this thing into the machine, it will turn it on. And when you have right next to that meter thing, like a little thing, it looks like a blood drop blinking. See that? Then we're good to go. So we're going to do this one first. This is the ketone meter, the ketone strip. Went in there. Now it's going to say, okay, guy, wait for just a second. And we have 2.9 millimoles per liter. That's going to remember what that is. So we just leave that. Don't have to worry about anything right now. We're going to put the glucose one in there. This will be interesting because I haven't had anything but coffee and I've been up for a while. Wait till the little droplet appears, right? We're ready to go. And we have enough blood here going on the end of my finger. That one went pretty deep, actually. And then we just do the same thing. We can just kind of wait. This one's a little faster. 84 is my number, okay? So we take that. Maybe I do have something in my pocket here. No, oh yes I do. I have a little paper towel that I've been keeping very clean. Ha ha ha. The next thing we're going to do is go on to the meter now, right? So the way I found this, guys, because you can become frustrated trying to sync up these two guys, the Keto-Moto and your phone. The way the what do you call it? The steps that I've found to do it in. There's another word for that, but I can't think of it right now. That work best for me is you access the Keto-Moto, app. Yeah, see it there. And then the next thing you do is turn this meter on, right? So now it's asking for a strip, but you go in here to Keto-Moto, and on the very bottom, there is I'll show you here on the very bottom, there's a little thing that says, yeah, it's there. We just got to focus it, guys. It says sync. See that? So we'll mash on that guy. Try it again. So it's looking for the meter. Wow, see it imported two recordings imported. So we click on the little thing. My GKI for today is 1.6, which certainly is within the 3, right? And then the other thing it'll say on here, which is kind of cool, is you are in a, what's the word there? High. It's kind of hard reading backwards on the screen, but you guys can see it frontwards. A high therapeutic level of GKI ketosis, which is awesome. There's nothing else I have to do. This thing will automatically, hang on just a sec, I'll get the door.
Oh, hi, I'm Nancy.
Nancy, you're early.
I'm sorry.
I'm in the middle of a Zoom call, but
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'll get it for you. Hang on just a sec. I shall return, guys. Keep yourself entertained for like 5 minutes. What's that?
We made it down here. It was fast.
Yeah, faster than yeah, here it is in all its beauty.
Oh,
Awesome. I need some TLC, like I said. But it's just,
yeah.
yeah,
It's just
whatever.
tires.
Yeah, what do you think?
Very nice.
Good.
Thank you so much.
You can have to put the other bikes on that water bottle.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
All right. So that really
Is it far away?
Video.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a good drive.
Yeah. No, I thought it'd take a lot longer.
Yeah.
No, I've got a bike ride on that.
Okay, cool.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right.
All right, sorry for the interruption, but these things happen. All right, back to where we are. So we got all this done, right? So that's our reading for today. I do these, like I say, once a day, and then you're done with it, right? You just put everything back, and I dispose of my stuff in a way that no one else will get like my blood on them. And like I say, this guy here is 45 bucks. And then the strips are what are going to cost you, but it's well worth it. You've got to measure. If you do not measure, how do you know? You know, if whatever you're doing, whatever you're eating is getting you into ketosis, you know, you got to know that part. It's so important to keep measurements. And that's something that Maggie on her blog also strives, you know, a lot, is that if you don't measure, you know, how do you know? How do you know anything? So it's just like, you know, people that have diabetes or other issues where they have to be measuring their blood glucose every day. You got to know where you're at. For me, from day one, when I bought the meter, I was already into a high level of therapeutic ketosis. That number today is very encouraging. Because yesterday was a 2 point something. I'm thinking, oh, I'm getting out of ketosis, you know, therapeutic ketosis, and it wasn't true. You know, if you're down in that range of 3 and below, you're really good. So the interruption was I had a bike posted on Facebook Marketplace, and somebody just came by to pick it up. I told her 10:30, but she said, I drove from Bonita and got here a lot earlier than what I've thought, and that's totally fine. But excuse for the interruption there. One thing I did want to touch on today is something that's bugged me. You know, I always talk about how the medical professionals don't seem to care to get on board with this. And then I compared it with technology, and you see the reasons why. It just looks like something that may be a fad. And, you know, why do I want to become invested in this? Even though TikTok is still the #1 download at the App Store today. Isn't that crazy? After all this time. It's what it's going to be with the keto diet, you know, especially for helping people with diseases and stuff. It's going to be the #1 thing. Atkins was right. You know, even though they blew his thing out of the water, they thought with, you know, oh, this can be harmful to whatever, you know, your organs or whatever. It's just such crazy stuff, right? Just like people say, TikTok's just a fad. It'll go away in 6 months, right? Is the thing that I wanted to touch on is the medical professionals situation in our country, and also our healthcare situation here as it intersects with the health insurance industry. I have been bothered for decades about the auto insurance industry, how much your premiums are at like companies like Progressive, which is one of the highest. And if you're a good driver, in a short time, maybe 3 years, you're self-insured. Think about that. You've paid enough with your premiums that if you would have put that same money in the bank, and for what they're offering on these coverages, for the most part, unless you get into something that's wild, like, you know, you like put somebody in the hospital and made them quadriplegic, where, you know, Progressive's going to have to pay like millions, whatever. That's different. But for the average Joe and Jill and Jane, that never happens. And you keep paying and paying and paying. Now, that's one instance, and that's the automotive industry. In healthcare, we pay a lot. Most of the time, it's our employers that pay, and part of it. And then you pay from out of your paycheck, whatever your premium is too. So they get good deals by doing these group insurance policies because everybody pays into this pool. And the health insurance company not only has, think about it, like I have United Healthcare, UMR. I'm not sure if UMR has as many benefits as United. They're both under the United. United is the big one, and then UMR is like under that umbrella. In any event, there are thousands of people paying premiums every month to this one company, right? So what bugs me, and everybody knows this about the insurance companies here in America, is that if I'm Mr. Joe, doctor says that I need a procedure done, or I just did this telemed with this patient, UMR just pays it. We're just going to pay that because you said that you needed that, right? To a certain point, there are things where the medical professionals, this is the way, prove me wrong, right? If I'm wrong on this, anybody? But if the medical professionals get to a point where they charge a little bit too much, then the health insurance companies say, no, that's a little bit too much. We'll only cover this much of it. We're going to let the patient pay the other part of it. So they'll do that and keep doing it until, the health insurance company just bucks and says that's too much. So it's always this give and take between the medical professionals and the health insurance companies. And it's crazy what's going on because they keep it to the point where, they'll let it go as high as they can. So the medical professionals keep pushing, and our health insurance companies keep paying, max until it hurts a little bit, or they're not making any money on it. And then that's going to be the part where they say no, which happens, I'm sure. So it bothers me because it's a money machine with no care about the patient. And why would you care if you're only paying $30 as a copay, or you hit your deductible and now the insurance company's paying the max? Why do we care, right? But we should care because of all this money machine that's going on. If you look at other countries, this would never happen. You would never see someone charging $125 for a 5-minute call. It would just be in healthcare. It would just not be allowed. That would break the system. Everybody behaves when you have a system that's set up properly. But in the United States, it's because it's a club, it's a free-for-all. And who banks? Medical professionals, pharmaceutical companies. Maggie on her blog, go read it. She was charged, I think, $42,000 for medication here in the United States. Whereas in Hong Kong, where she lives part-time, which is kind of cool, her and her husband travel there in media and I think television production as well. They would pay I think $100, $200 for the same exact medication. Why is that? That's because the medical profession, the insurance industry, insurance companies will pay that. They'll pay it. Why? Because they can. They can. They can get the money from us through all of those premiums that we pay, and they'll pay out whatever the pharmaceutical company wants because it's not regulated and they're allowed to do so. And if we have health insurance and the health insurance company pays the pharmaceutical company for this, why do we care? We're not paying for it. Our health insurance does that. That's why this mess keeps going on. It's sad. And my brand new word, it's shameful, right? So I want you to think about that. Those are like my final thoughts for today, for this week. I had a pretty good week. To sum up the week, for me, I know there's still liver issues or the bile issues with the flow. Now, one part of my brain wants to say the reason why there's problems with, still having the symptoms that I had before of a blocked bile duct is because I did have a stent put in the bile duct. The tumor supposedly is around the bile duct. So the stent went down the bile duct. And I'm thinking, even if the tumor is receding, now that bile duct is blocked with a stent, so the stent can only carry so much. That's one side of my brain. The other side of my brain is saying it's a long path. You can't expect this just happened like maybe 2 weeks ago. You can't expect like deliverance in 7 days. Not going to happen. I guess, that's what people are telling me. When I read or see on YouTube the effects of a therapeutic keto diet, these improvements always happened over weeks, not days. So it's like Johnny went on the therapeutic keto diet, and 2 months later, when they did a new PET scan, we saw great improvement. So that's 2 months, and normally it is something like that. It's like a couple of months, sometimes 3. And so I'm expecting miracles. I want to be doing my keto diet for 3 days and go, oh, I feel so much better, even though I do feel better. And crazy things are happening in my body. I had this backache like forever that I talk about so much, especially with my family. Oh, my back's killing me. And like from one night to the next, the thing's gone. I'll explain that, right? Not sure why. Yesterday, I had like such a good rest. I do track my sleep too. And for that, I use an app called Sleep Cycle, which is available to download. You just leave your phone like next to the bed, like laying like that, and it listens. And it can tell when you're sleeping, when you're restless, deep sleep. And also I use my Fitbit. God bless Fitbit. I don't have an Apple Watch. My sleep is doing well. I have the auto focus turned off now. So anyway, it's doing really well. And it tracks, how it tracks your sleep on Fitbit? It tracks your sleep using your heart rate, which is cool. And this thing detects heart rate right there. It's like, beating away there. Can you see that? Now, what's cool is that if I look in today's diary, I already have my Fitbit activity. I have sleep and Fitbit. I slept. This was a good night, 9.5 hours. Went to bed early. My heart rate's at 64. It's got my ketones and my blood glucose already in there. It doesn't have, and I do track all the supplements I take too. This is so crazy. You can scan the bottle, so the barcode on the bottle. Going a little bit over today. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining me again on this Saturday. We'll see you next Saturday. Have a blessed weekend. Take care.